Good afternoon. Well, after I think it was the macaroni and cheese dinner video that I made, and I had mentioned my homemade sour cream. Well, several people requested how I make it. You're just going to be amazed at how easy this is. As most of you know that have been following me for a long time, we buy raw milk from a local farmer who has a couple dairy cows. And then if you've ever bought raw milk, I get it in gallon jars. The cream and the milk will separate and the cream will come up to the top. We bought 3 gallons a couple days ago. From that, I skimmed off a half gallon. There's going to be some more that I'm going to use in other recipes, but all it is cream. And there's several other recipes. You can buy the cultures, you can buy all this stuff, but I use plain yogurt. And this is also what I use as a starter when I make homemade yogurt. And I want it plain because then we can add, whatever we want. I like my yogurt plain because we can add fruit or chocolate or anything that you want to add to your yogurt. So I always start with plain. The main thing is that it has all the activated cultures, and this has, well, if you've ever bought yogurt, you can't pronounce half of them, but this is full of live cultures. So watch me put this together. You're probably just going to shake your head like there was nothing to it. All you need is cream, some sort of culture or starter, and like I said, I just use yogurt, home store-bought yogurt, and once you get it going, you can just use the same over and over. I could take from my other sour cream and put it in here, but I had bought some of this at the store the other day because I knew I wanted to make yogurt. So this is a pint jar. I'm just going to pour some cream in there. By the way, this makes beautiful butter. I make butter every week or other week. I save the buttermilk and use it in baking. And then I go ahead and cook down that butter and make ghee because it's shelf-stable butter and you just never know. So I went ahead, just for now, I filled this about 3/4 full, and this is literally all you do. You just take, I'm going to mix this up a little bit because I just opened it. Just put in a dollop. You notice I use the dollop a lot in my recipes. Just a dollop of yogurt. And just stir it till it's well blended and all broke up in there. Now the reason I'm only making 1 pint is because I've got another pint yet in there. So I've got plenty for now. Then I'll go ahead, since I just didn't want to slop around, I'm going to go ahead and top off my jar with more cream. And the old farmer and I like this a lot better than store-bought. Store-bought sometimes can be kind of bitter, but this isn't at all. Now the hard part. For the next step, I use a heating pad, and there's so many different ways that you can do that. Some people will wrap theirs in towels and put them in a warm oven or with the oven light on. You don't want to turn your oven on. You just want a warm, like a really low heat. Since sour cream starts out cold, you can't really use like a lot of people, when they make yogurt, because it is warm, will wrap it up and put it like in an ice chest and keep the lid down, and that will keep that temperature steady. but I use the heating pad on the low setting. So now I'm going to move you over and show you how I do that. Okay, just have my old standard heating pad, nothing fancy. I put it on low. And typically I make, 3 or 4 pints at a time. And I think I'll be adding yogurt to this today. I may go ahead and make some yogurt. And then I just wrap it up with a heavy towel to keep the heat in on the yogurt, or excuse me, this is sour cream. To keep the heat contained, heating pad on low, and then tomorrow morning it'll be ready. So we'll check back in the morning and see what we got. I showed you how I make my sour cream, so I thought I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I make my yogurt. It's really easy. I see all these people say, what's the best kind of yogurt maker? What should I buy? And my response to them is, do you have a pan and a spoon? That's about all you need. But, so the first thing that I've got here is about a half a gallon or 8 cups of milk. I probably have 6.5 or 7. I'm going to turn the heat on, and I need to bring the temperature of the milk up to 180 degrees. I'll be constantly stirring this just to make sure that it doesn't scorch to the bottom of the pan. When I get up to 180 degrees, I'll come back, because you don't need to sit here and watch me stir cold milk. And I just got up to 180 degrees. I know those that have been making yogurt for a long time don't have to use thermometers, but I have one of these digital thermometers, and I also use my meat thermometer just to double check myself. We need to get the temperature back down to 110. So my heat is off, and I'm going to go ahead, because I'm impatient, and put some cold water in my sink and bring the temperature down. To make the yogurt, or the way I make it, I think there's lots of different recipes out there. As I said with the sour cream, I use plain. I don't want any sugar. I don't want any flavoring. That way you can add what you want to your yogurt when you're ready to eat it. I just make sure that it has the live and active cultures. Use about a cup of this yogurt, 6 to 8 cups of milk, whole milk. And something that I have learned makes the yogurt thicker and creamier is if you add powdered milk. And you can add just about any amount that you want, and I'm going to add 1 cup of powdered milk. It's not necessary, but it does make it thicker and creamier and really smooth. So let's get on with making the yogurt. The temperature's down to 110. And this is a cup of powdered milk, and like I said, this part is not necessary. It just makes your yogurt creamier and thicker and a little richer. If you want to add sugar or flavoring or any of that, now would be the time to add it. I always just put it in if we decide we want it as I'm serving it. Okay, I have 1 cup of the store-bought yogurt. That's my starter. Put this in. I'm going to whisk this in until it is, the yogurt is all dissolved in here. And that didn't take long. Some people will just leave it in the pan cover it with a towel, cover it with the lid, whatever. I could probably do that actually, but you never know, I might need my pan after bed. But I'm going to go ahead and put it in the jars that I'm going to keep it in. Also, people will put it in their oven with the light on and it keeps it warm enough, but I have like an LED type light, so I get no heat out of it. So I've got this stirred, and now I'm going to put it into jars. Of course, my jars are clean. I should have had one of my funnels. I made a little mess. Oh well. What I ended up with, and I'm going to guess that I had about 6.5 cups of milk instead of the full 8 cups. When I make the full 8 cups or a half a gallon a jar of my raw milk, I usually end up with close to 3 quarts. So that's why I cut back on the amount of milk I started with. So, going to put lids on it. And put it right over here with the sour cream. Okay, I've got my 2 quarts of yogurt and my 1 pint of sour cream. I'm going to put it on this heating pad, and this is enough. I might actually go get 1 more towel. I'm going to make sure that it stays nice and warm and no drafts. Okay, we'll check back in the morning. Next morning, I was actually up at 4:30 this morning, but you didn't want to see me in my jammies and my bed head. So I went ahead and took them out from, they were wrapped in towels on the heating pad, and then I just went ahead and put them in the refrigerator. Sometimes you're going to find them a little liquidy or not as thick when you first open it up, but this is the sour cream, nice and thick. And now you're probably wondering, why does it look so yellow? That's fresh cream off of raw milk. It's the best. There are many ways of making sour cream, but this is, in my opinion, the easiest, and I've had the best luck with this. And I ended up with 1 4-quart jar, and then this one is over 3/4 full of the yogurt. Sometimes on the yogurt, there'll be a little bit of liquid on the top. Now, I like my yogurt really thick and creamy. Remember, that's why I added the powdered milk. I wanted it a little bit richer and creamier. So, this is the yogurt. And I usually just stir that liquid the whey right back into the yogurt. And the longer it sits in the fridge, the thicker it will get. But I'm very happy with yogurt this way. Now, I know that these recipes are out there being done by other YouTubers. I apologize to anybody who this was the original recipe. I'm not sure where I got it, but this is how I've been making it for several years. So I'm really pleased with this, and it's easy, and it doesn't take special equipment to make it either. So this is how I do my homemade sour cream and my homemade yogurt. I use plain yogurt as a starter. That way I can add whatever I want to this. This is a super simple, easy way of making homemade sour cream and homemade yogurt. Okay, thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time. One more thing, I wanted to remind you guys, canning season is here. And it's just, we're going to get a lot more. Things are going to get a lot busier. Get your canning lids, and don't forget, you can get a 10% discount by using Farmer's Wife, and I'll have all the information in the description below. 4 jars, canning lids. Love these lids. Farmer's Wife is your discount code. All right, have a good day.